Welcome to Conversations with Terry McBride. This is video number 10 in this series that I'm calling The Joy and Wonder of Choice. Remember, as you've been watching these videos, I've encouraged you to get underneath the ideas and concepts and just explore these things. Explore the tools of choice. And just notice whether you think if you used them, whether you could make a difference in your life. One of the things I quote when I start all of my workshops, I've got it in my book, and it says this: when I was facing my health challenge, part of me wanted someone else to tell me how to create the reality I wanted. I had been taught to look outside of myself for the answers I needed. And too many times what I thought was discounted, and I was encouraged to believe like my teachers. Oh, how I wanted a magic pill. I was confused by all the different methodologies stating their way was the best way, or the only way. But in the end, I got what I wanted. I got my health back, because I was willing to explore the magic of choice until I found out how to use it my way. That's what these videos have been about. They've been encouraging you to explore these ideas of choice and to apply them. It's more than just thinking about them. You've got to apply them, because when you take the time, when you take the effort to figure out how you apply them, you begin to understand how these work for you. We've sort of moved through these previous videos in a structured format. The first one was The Hell I Can't. It talked about my story, about how I had been programmed to always look at what wasn't working, the challenges in front of me. And when I was sick and the medical profession said, well, we've reached the limits of our science, you're never going to get well, I decided it was time to step up. To begin to say, maybe what I do can make a difference. The next video was Who Do You Think You Are? What that dealt was the idea that we're brought up thinking we are our stuff, we are our history, our education, who we know, all of that. All of that stuff that deals with our past, and we begin to acknowledge who we are now based on our past, and if we keep doing that, then our past just continues to resurrect itself, and we get to deal with the same kind of issues time and time again. And so that video encouraged each of us, me too, as I watched them, to remember I'm not my history. I'm not my stuff. I'm made out of star stuff. I am a unique expression of that divine spark, and from there, I'm free. The next one we talked about, consciousness creates reality. And the challenge is that even if we begin to accept that what I hold in my mind to be true tends to live itself out in my life, where do I draw the line on what I hold to be true? Do I only hold to be true that I can change my opinion about what's going on? I really can't change what's going on? Or are the writings and teachings that speak about our unlimited ability, that speak about consciousness creates reality, and you can actually make a difference in what's happening in your life? You can actually change the conditions of your life, and that it can be challenging as we explore that, because there are some teachers who say you can't change the thing, you can only change your opinion about the thing. We need to accept the things that we cannot change. And remember, in that video, Consciousness Creates Reality, I said I took that prayer and gently put it in the trash and put up a new prayer that said, all things are possible if only I believe. course, if you say that thing, the next thing you're going to run into is that one we did earlier. Who do you think you are? That these ideas of choosing who you begin to hold yourself, how you begin to hold yourself, that these concepts weave together. And then even after I decided that consciousness creates reality, I had to take a look at, was I free to go after what I wanted? Were my needs, were my aspirations, my human aspirations, were they legitimate? And I talked about a psychologist in the last century, Abraham Maslow. And what I liked about his teachings was he said, you can trust who you are. You can trust your mind. You can trust your body. And if you just pay attention, if you use these concepts of choice, Maslow said that, on what's right in front of you, your needs, your aspirations, when you handle those, you will move up to a new level of needs, a new level of aspirations, and that you can trust your human condition because it's geared to assist you to become what he called self-actualized. In other words, your dreams, your aspirations are your road to begin to experience who you really are, beyond even your dreams and aspirations. And then the next video, video number 5, was You're Not Alone. When I was studying this, I was sick. I was engulfed with disease. I had pain and sorrow and so much drama in my mind, I can't even begin to express it. And I felt in the beginning, as I was trying to step up, that if it was to be, it was up to me. And I felt a terrible burden. But as I explored the great writings throughout history, there was that common thread that said, you're not alone. All of the great teachers who have come before you are there with you, lending their support to you and your priorities. That's that idea that the universe awaits your intention. That when you commit, then providence moves too. You're not alone. With that foundation of beginning to say, I'm not my past. I'm not my current story. I can write a new story. I can become the writer, the director, the star of my movie, the star of my life. I can begin to move to what I want. And then we moved into the tools of choice. How do I do that? How do I begin right where I am and begin to focus on creating the life that I want? And it starts with choice of destination. Your choice of focus. What are you going to focus on? When you wake up in the morning, what are you focusing on? As you move through your day, what are you focusing on? That idea of beginning to write out, what would I like to have in my life? Instead of just doing things the way I've always done them, what if I take a few moments in my day and begin to write out, what would I like to have? What would I like to create? What would I like to feel about myself when I look in the mirror? How would I like to go to bed at night as I curl up under my own covers? What would I like to think about? That's choice of destination. Beginning to focus on what you do want. The next tool we talked about was choice of action. That for many of us, especially in the beginning, we believe more in action than we do in the metaphysical principles of affirmation, visualization, thanksgiving, which we talk about later. We believe in action. So the idea of choice of action was to take one of these things that you want from this list that you've made, this dream list, and bring it over and just explore, if you were going to create that, what might you need to do? What action might you need to take? And you begin to lay it out. You're not committing to it. Just if you were going to, what might you need to do so that you end up with a roadmap. And we talked about the challenges that in the beginning, the list tends to be of all the stuff we've read, all the seminars and workshops we've been to. But as you continue to delve, you begin to find within you, you have your own answers. You know what you need to do. And you begin to write that out. You get a game plan, a roadmap on what you would need to do to create this reality that you want. Then we talked about choice of mental environment. Beginning to take charge of this voice inside our head, this chatter that's always going on. That my intention when I was studying wasn't to just quiet my mind. My intention was to get my mind so it would begin to talk to me in the way that supported me to follow through. To begin to take that voice inside my head and train it to say things that supported me in following through with setting out what I want to do, my intention and my action. And to begin to integrate these tools. And as I did that, I began to feel that, whoa, I am making a difference. Not just I can make a difference, I am making a difference by what I'm doing. And then the last tool we brought in was choice of emotional environment. That we can begin to choose what we feel. And the idea there was that to use our imagination, to take charge of the image-making part of the mind so that it focuses on what we want. It focuses and we begin to daydream that we're following through with our roadmap. And we begin to daydream that we're creating this new mental environment, taking charge of this self-talk, and how these tools begin to weave together. And by just things that you can do on your own, you begin to get a sense of knowing that you're on track. Not just hoping, not just, being on track with these tools of choice, but by using them, you begin to experience knowing that you're making a difference. Knowing that you are moving towards what you want. And when you get that as good as you can get it, spend a little time feeling thankful that what you're doing is making a difference. And through these simple tools of choice, 10 to 12 minutes a day, as you begin to integrate these tools and use them together, you move to this experience of your life. You begin to experience your life as this wonderful adventure that you can create. That's why I call it the joy and wonder of choice. Get involved. Use these principles on a daily basis. Get a system and integrate the tools. And what you will find is that you are that magnificent human being that you've always dreamed you could be. I send you love. I send you joy. And I send you power.